Yesterday, Donald Trump announced that the federal government would be injecting roughly $1.5 trillion into the United States economy, basically through banks and through the Federal Reserve buying up securities and bonds and things of that nature. And he did it because the stock market was absolutely crashing to the ground early Thursday morning. And they wanted a bounce, right? They needed that bounce. And unfortunately, he got what they refer to as a dead cat bounce. Because even with $1.5 trillion going in, $500 billion almost immediately, this is what they got. This is a tweet with a graph from our good friend David Pakman showing what kind of bounce they got and precisely how long it lasted. And as you can see from the graph, it lasted less than an hour. $1.5 trillion for less than an hour's worth of a bump in the stocks. That's it. And then it disappeared. Then it kept crashing. Folks, to put that in perspective, do you know how much student loan debt is held by Americans here in the United States? $1.5 trillion. They could have used that money to wipe out all of the student loan debt in this country. And instead, they're using it to make sure rich people don't lose more money. And unfortunately, they did. So we've essentially wasted this money. Now again, the Fed still has to go through and start buying up these financial devices and, weird, confusing things that the stock market does. And it's not going to mean anything. And that's what the stock market warned us about yesterday. It doesn't matter. It's not going to save the economy. It's not going to save the stock market. They simply don't care. And part of the reason for that is because we have such an incompetent buffoon running the federal government that even $1.5 trillion isn't going to be enough to save him. Now, here's the thing. We could have, as I mentioned, spent that $1.5 trillion wiping out every penny of student loan debt in this country, but we didn't. We could have used it to, maybe invest in medical science, try to come up with a cure for a vaccine, something, anything. But we didn't. We could have used it to buy testing kits. We're grossly behind the rest of the world in terms of testing our population for this pandemic. But no, we decided to spend that money because rich people like Trump himself were losing lots and lots of money. And average Americans were losing tons of money off of their pensions, their 401ks. The stock market crash is unfortunately a big deal. Most of it related to the wealthy elite of this country losing money. That I do not care one bit about. But I do care about the people who have their 401ks in the stock market, their pensions. My mom texted me this morning to let me know that her very meager 401k lost $500 yesterday. And because her 401k is rather small, that's actually a huge percentage of the money that she had. And it's gone because of Donald Trump, because of his lackluster response, because of the fact that $1.5 trillion being used to buy up financial devices, and some of it's going to be used to increase liquidity with the banks so that they can start lending more to small businesses. None of that is going to help. None of that is going to help with what's happening in this country today. It's not going to save the economy. It's not going to prevent people from getting sick. It's going to do absolutely nothing. Donald Trump is going down in flames, and he is bringing this entire country with him. One of today's video sponsors is Skillshare, an online learning community offering thousands of classes in countless different subject areas. And right now, Skillshare has a special offer for our Ring of Fire viewers. The first 500 people to click on the link below and sign up for Skillshare are going to receive a 2-month free trial of Skillshare Premium. Skillshare offers courses in all kinds of different subject areas that you could find helpful either in your professional life or your personal life. I'm currently taking a class about iPhone filmmaking so that I can make better short films for my Twitter, my Instagram, and every other social media account here through Ring of Fire. Graphic design, video editing, arts, photography, you name it, and Skillshare has it for you. These are classes that are taught by people who know what they're doing. And you're surrounded by an online community that is also there to help you out if you need it. These classes are flexible. You can tailor it to your personal schedule. You don't have to worry about meeting these deadlines or being at a certain place at a certain time. They run around you, just as it should be. These classes that are offered can help you in a wide variety of ways. Whether you're looking for something to maybe start a new hobby, or maybe you want to get a little bit more ahead at work by learning a couple new skills, Skillshare has exactly what you're looking for. And again, right now for our Ring of Fire viewers, they are offering 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free to the first 500 people who click on the link at the top of the video description below.